Hello, welcome to this Access Group Training special video recording that demonstrates how a student would successfully and practically use the e-learning resources provided to them in their diploma training. This particular video series will be based around the unit Manage Budgets and Financial Plans, but it will equally apply to any unit that you might be doing in the online course. We're working off a 8-step plan here, and for the context of this video series, it'll actually just be the first few steps that we're looking at. So just to quickly talk about those right now, we're going to start off by reading the e-learning materials, and we're just going to read one part at a time. So if I have a look back at my learning materials themselves, so you can see the learning material support is broken into 4 parts. So when I'm starting my reading, I'll go to part 1, and I can see here that there are 9 pages of reading that I'll do. After I've done my reading of the e-learning materials, then I'll actually read the materials again, but this time around I'll actually take greater notice of taking notes to the reading. So rather than just reading itself, I'll be reading and taking some fairly intensive notes, and then I'll be in a position where I can start my formative assessments. So just going back to the learning materials themselves, down in the assessment area here we've got our formative assessments, and that's broken up into usually multiple activities or maybe just one activity. In this case there are actual multiple activities, and for each activity there'll be a number of questions. And that's what I'm going to focus on. You can see here that step 4 says once you sort of reach the end of where you can go to with the activities, you need to read the next part of your e-learning materials. The idea there is that when I just read part 1, that will only take me so far when it comes to answering the formative assessments. So I'll get to a point where I come across a term that I clearly haven't read in my reading from part 1. So that's a good indicator to me that it's now time for me to actually start my part 2 reading. And that's how that system will work. So going back to our plan here, that's what this is talking about. Once we reach the end of where we can get to with our activities, we need to do some more reading. And it gets to this point where you end up in a bit of a loop of reading activities, reading activities, reading activities. You will eventually get to the point though where you've completed all of the reading and you've completed all of the activities from your formative assessments. And at that point you'll then move on to the longer format answers of the summative assessments. And that's where these steps kick in. So I'm not going to go into detail there because that's a different part of the process. I just want to concentrate on getting this first little area sorted out and demonstrated as clearly as possible, so you've got a really strong foundation to work upon and then be able to do the rest of your study from that point on. So we'll continue that on with the next video.